Hello, it's Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the ChrisVossShow.com. Current blog post I want to share with you, of course, review the latest in social media and technology. This is the Samsung Galaxy S3 against its sister phone, the Samsung Galaxy Note. This is the first Note that came out, and hopefully soon there'll be a second one coming out soon. So we're going to do a versus comparison with both these devices. Now, we've reviewed a ton of phones on the ChrisVossShow.com and on the Chris Voss channel. So be sure to subscribe to both those channels so that you can take and see all the latest and greatest stuff, as we have all the phone companies, major phone companies, now sending us all their phones. So be sure to tune in for those reviews and see all the other reviews we've done so far. So what we're going to do is do a comparison between these two phones. This is the AT&T Samsung Galaxy S3 from amzn.to. Be sure to go to their website, check them out. And this is from t-mobile.com. That's T-Mobile at t-mobile.com. And they provided us with the Galaxy Note to do some video comparisons. Be sure to see all the comparisons we do with both these phones and all that stuff on our channels. So let's take a look at the devices and compare them in a versus. Now, I really love the Samsung Galaxy S3, and one of the reasons I do is because it's a great phone and it has a giant screen. As a guy, I like big screens. It's just kind of my thing. Now, on the Note, I love the Note even more, and I think I'm going to really love the Note 2 when it comes out. The Note preceded the Galaxy Samsung S3 and has great internals in it, and also I just love the giant screen. It actually works as something between my iPad and my Samsung Galaxy S3. So let's take a look at both devices. We'll compare them side by side and get an idea as to how they look. So with the Galaxy Samsung S3, what we're looking at is its height is 5.38 inches. Its width is 2.78 inches. Its thickness is 0.34 inches. Now, comparatively with the Samsung Note, we're looking at 5.78 in height, 3.27 in width, and 0.38 in thickness. The weight on the Samsung Galaxy S3 is 4.73 ounces. The weight on the Note is 6.28 ounces. It is heavier, but it actually feels pretty good. It's not cumbersome heavy, if you will. Now, on the device for the S3, it has a 2100 milliamp battery, up to 8 hours of talk time, 8.3 hours of standby time. So it's got a really good sized battery in it. The Note similarly has 10 hours talk time, 250 hours max standby, which is 10.4 days, and 2500 milliamp batteries. The display, let's take a look at the display. The display size on the S3 is 4.8 inches. It has a resolution of 1280 by 720 at 306 ppi HD Super AMOLED screen, 16 million colors. With the Note, you're looking at a OLED full color screen. The resolution is 800 by 1280 pixels, 5.3 diagonal in size, Super AMOLED HD. Now, if you're looking at both these screens, you can see that the Samsung Galaxy S3, of course, being a newer phone and more updated, is darker and richer in its colors, and that's by no means an accident. We do have both devices cranked up all the way on their brightness, just in case you have any questions regarding that. On the platforms of both these devices, both of them have been updated to Android 4.04. I believe they normally come out with Android 4.0. They both have Ice Cream Sandwich. Currently, at this time, it is rumored that any day now, the Samsung Galaxy S3 from this recording of this video will be getting the Jelly Bean update. And it's currently rolling out internationally, actually, so it's just a matter of time till that happens. We're hoping to get that soon. Of course, we'll be doing reviews on that, so be sure to tune into those at that time. Now, memory-wise, it has on the S3 up to 16 gigabytes of memory, up to 64 gigabytes of expandable memory storage in the back, and memory format is a micro SD card that you can put in the back of the device. The maximum RAM is 2 gigabytes of RAM. Okay, so the processor on the Samsung Galaxy S3 is a dual-core Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 1.5 gigahertz device that has inside it on the Note you're looking at 1.5 gigahertz Qualcomm Snapdragon S3 dual core with 16 gigabytes of internal storage, 1 gigabytes of RAM, and it's upgradable up to 32 gigabytes of storage with a micro SD card. On the cameras, what we're looking at for both devices is we're looking at it's 8 megapixel on the rear-facing camera on the S3 and also the Note, I should say. It's got 4 times digital zoom. On the front-facing camera of the S3, it's 1.9 megapixels as compared to the Note. It has a front-facing camera of 2 megapixels, so a little bit more in clarity. Both have TV output HDMI if you have the right adapter for them. Resolution's 1080p HD. So that gives us a rundown of the details of both these devices and comparative analysis on their hardware. Let's take a look at some more detail on the rest of them. On each device, you can see here we've got live wallpaper that's operating in the back. They both have what we call infinite scroll, where they can continually keep scrolling around. You can, of course, see the live wallpaper. There's the number of widgets, the same sort of stuff that you would have with most Android devices, and very cool sort of stuff. It's pretty much the same thing on notifications. There's a few more notifications they've added to the Galaxy Samsung S3, but I like the quick settings that you can take and do here at the top and be able to adjust the S3, which is really cool. So it's good to be able to have the ability to continually swipe and keep going back to what you want to take and get to. Other than that, pretty much most stuff is the same. We'll talk about some of the small differences here as we go along. Now on the Samsung S3, you have a small speaker at the top for making calls, some sensors, and also a front-facing camera. Down here, you have these capacitive touch screens that basically will give you menu and backspace, which will light up when you touch them, and then, of course, deactivate themselves to save power. You also have a home button, and on the T-Mobile Note, on the top, we have the speaker for making calls, front-facing camera right here. We have capacitive touch screen for the menu, home button, back button, and search. So that's how that works for both these devices. Let's take and flip them carefully over and see how they look on the backs of each device. Now, both have pull-off backs. You can see here on the S3 we have the lamp flash here, we have the camera here, and we have a small speaker here. It does okay. I would have liked to have had a bigger speaker on the S3. On the Note, we have the camera here, the lamp flash here, we have a speaker here. It's actually really powerful. When we pull off the back, you'll get to see how well that works. So let's go ahead and do that. Now the back pulls off up in this region, and it's just a simple, easy plastic back that comes off. Let's go ahead and pull off the Samsung S3. Pops off from the top, and you can see the innards, back innards, I should say, of both devices. So what we have here is we have a removable battery for each device. So if you did want to get additional batteries and charge them so that you could swap batteries on the fly, you can do that with this product. You can see here the place for the SIM card and your micro SD expansion cards here, and a SIM card here on the Galaxy S3. Now, one thing that the Note has that most cell phones don't have is the ability to have a stylus, which you see here. And the stylus is very interestingly designed. It has even a thing that can give commands by pushing, kind of like a mini mouse, if you will. Of course, you can also do things with the stylus in and of itself. So, very interesting. Okay, so here we can see in the bottoms of both devices we have a sync charging hole on both devices here in the center. There's a small microphone hole that you can see right here and right here on each device, and of course there's the stylus area for the Galaxy Note. And flipping these around across the top, you can see here that we have a small microphone hole here, an earphone jack, an earphone jack hole here, and that's pretty much it. I don't think we have a microphone hole at the top. Yes, we do actually. It is right there. Okay, so on the Galaxy S3 we have a power button over here. Same thing with the Galaxy Note, a power button on the right hand side of the device. On the left-hand side of each device, on the Galaxy S3, we have a rocker panel for up and down volume. We also have a rocker, I don't want to say panel actually, a rocker button, if you will, for up and down volume. Okay, so here you can see the speed test we got from both devices. The Samsung from AT&T, you can see the download speeds and upload speeds it took and achieved. This, of course, was done with the Wi-Fi off on both these devices. As you can see now, it's turned back on. We're, of course, using the results log for those of you who decide to write me on YouTube. On the T-Mobile note, you can see the T-Mobile results. The download capabilities of the Note are seriously huge. It's definitely a powerful device when it comes to bringing down information, and does it extremely well. And as you can see here, it does it pretty fast. Okay, so here we can now see the speed test that we did with the Galaxy S3. This is using the AT&T network. Like I said, we're not really trying to show the difference between the two networks, but we are trying to show the speed of the device. So you can see this here. This is running through the hosting through our iPad 3 using the Samsung S3 as a hotspot. Okay, so here you can see the results of the speed test that we've taken and done with the T-Mobile. This, of course, was done using the T-Mobile as a hotspot. We're using the results log here, if you notice the Wi-Fi on the T-Mobile. This picked up 4G network on the T-Mobile, and so you can see the numbers here is what we got consistently. This basically, like I said, is using the Note as a hotspot for the iPad 3 and what the iPad 3 burned through in getting data from it. Okay, so here we can see how both devices fared on the Geek 2 bench. This is what's normally thought among many people as the definitive one of the definitive benchmarking scores to take and do on a device. You can see here that the Samsung Galaxy S3 came in at 1380 against 858 on the T-Mobile Note. The scores were 942 integer compared to 711. Floating point was 2190 compared to 1065. The memory was 1157 compared to 995. And the stream was 526 compared to 379. I'll go ahead and page this down. Now, you can, of course, pause this at any time. We'll quickly go through it. And so if you want to take a look at any of the data specifically there, you can take and do it. There's not really much point to it. The overall scores that total themselves and everything else are really all one needs to really know about, seeing how these break down. And now, one thing you'll notice is with each of these benchmarking apps that we'll be using, these are all apps that you can take and download and are available for you to have access to, so you can follow along at home. And what's great about this too is it gives you the opportunity to test out your device against these devices that you might be thinking about purchasing. Okay, so here we're looking at both devices doing a color test, and you can see here there's not too much difference with the eye that I'm taking using where I'm seeing this, and it probably comes out a little different through the lens, but I can tell you the Samsung S3 color is a little bit darker and a little bit better looking, more brighter, more richer in color, but it's very, very slight, very slight, but it is noticeable in comparing against the two. So both have great colors. Here we can see how each device scored with the AnTuTu benchmark 2.9.3 we're using here in this version. 6558 was the score against 6501 on the Note. Okay, so here you can see the quadrant standard test we've taken and done on both devices. The Samsung Galaxy S3 scored 4963 against 3588 with the Galaxy Note. You can see some of the totals of scores down here. Okay, so here we have the CF Bench Pro version 1.2 we've done on both devices. Let's take a look at how they stacked up in their numbers. You can see here the results. Of course, you can pause this at any time. You can see a massive breakdown between the differences on both of them and how they each scored, etc. So let's go ahead and page down some. We'll go to the bottom here where we have the overall score. You can see here the overall score for the S3 scored 9,449 against 6,029 on the Galaxy Note. You can see some of their comparison scores. Now, one thing with these comparison scores that we always see, sometimes these can vary based upon what OSs have been updated on each device, so sometimes they're not the most accurate. But you can see the S3 scores very high on both devices. For some reason, it shows your device here and your device there. we never have been able to figure all that out. No benchmarking score seems to be perfect. That's why we run multiple ones to show you so that you can see them and decide for yourself. Okay, so here what we're seeing is we're seeing the GPS status test, and what this is doing is this is testing how well each device can pick up satellites around the globe and be able to determine where it is on the planet. Both are picking up a great amount of satellites, 24 to 23 for the S3, 17 in use, 22 in view on the Note, 13 in use. One way or another, it's still coming out with an accuracy of 10 feet, which is normal for all mobile phones. Okay, so here's what we call the billion counter, and what this does is it sees how fast each device can count to a billion and process it. You can see here that the Galaxy S3 did it in 33.54 seconds, and the Note did it in 43.738. Okay, so here you can see the Velamo scores. These are the Velamo scores. They do a lot of different HTML5 testing, etc., etc. The score for the S3 came in at 1647, and the Note came in at 1139, 577 for the S3 on the Metal score, and 350 for the Note. Okay, so here we can see on both devices, we've done the SunSpider JavaScript benchmarking test. Now, what we're looking for in these tests is the lower score is definitely the better score to take and have. You can see here that the Samsung Galaxy S3 came with a score of 2,040.7 milliseconds, comparatively to 2,620 milliseconds on the Note. Okay, so now we can see here how both devices scored with the AnTuTu 3D rating on the benchmark. The S3 scored 3,042 against 1,924. Okay, so here we can see the SQL test on both these devices with the RL Benchmark SQL Lite performance test. And what this does is this checks strings, inserts, indexes, all that sort of stuff, drop tables, etc., etc. You can see the test came out of the Galaxy S3 at 28.177 and 39.84 on the Note. Okay, so here we can see this is the AND-E bench test, and what this does is test how well each device performs in processing native and Java threads. You can see here that the Samsung S3 did it in 49.58 and 23.33 for the Note, 189 for the S3 and 112 for the Note. Okay, so now we have the front-facing camera experience that you can see here. This is through the AT&T network for the 4G that you'll see this over. So you can kind of see the results we have here are very good. Okay, so now here you can see our experience over a localized Wi-Fi, and of course results may vary. We've got some sound cycling that we're experiencing, so you can see how that plays out on the Samsung Galaxy S3. We've been doing a number of recordings, so it's probably a little bit backed up in the two of them, but you can see I'm coming out really well on this end. We're just having a little problems with the receiving end, which may be coming from the iPad 3. So you can see here it looks really well on what's being sent on this end. Okay, so now what we're doing is we're doing a Skype call, video to video. This is across a localized internet, so you can see how well each device is performing at passing the data back between each other. This is the main thing we want to be concerned about, is the view that the 2 megapixel front-facing camera is picking up and what it's transmitting. And you can see on my iPad 3 it's very, very clear and looks great. Probably one of the best images I've seen. Okay, so here you can see we're using the front-facing camera for a Skype call, doing video back and forth. You can see here the image that we're getting on the iPad 3 that's coming from the front-facing camera on the Galaxy Note, and it's probably one of the best pictures that I've seen from a mobile phone when it comes to front-facing camera. It's of course 2 megapixels, so that helps, but definitely great resolution. Now we're running this over the T-Mobile network, and it's still coming in at really good resolution at being able to pull it down from the T-Mobile network. Okay, so let's take a look at using the camera on the Galaxy S3. Now, the Galaxy S3 takes great pictures. You can see here that we have a camera switch on the right-hand side where you can switch between taking photos and taking videos. We have the ability to, of course, have a shutter button here, and down here we have our portfolio of photos. Up here you can choose between different modes of focus, macro, face detection. You can focus between using your flash on and off. You've got, of course, single shot burst mode, HDR, smile shot, beauty, panorama, all sorts of different things you can do there. You can, of course, pull the camera back to you, and then you have different settings. You'll find most of these settings in the Android system, of different settings you can do, adjustments you can do in the resolution of the cameras, anti-shake, auto contrast, all this sort of good stuff, image quality. You have full ability to change the features as you like them and prefer them. So let's go ahead and click out of those. I'm just clicking over here because I'm bored. So let's take a look at the photos that we get, and we'll get an idea as to how well they come out. There's a long pause for some reason, though, when you first go into your photos. After that, the pause disappears, but it's kind of interesting. This is a low light shot that we took using a very darkened area, and of course the flash, you can see here, the colors came out really well, and so did the details. It almost looks like we shot it in the light when it was completely dark, so it shoots very well that way. Let's go ahead and flip over. Here's video of the same scene that you can see, and as you can see here, the video with the light came out really well. Lit up the object in the dark, and so taking video at night is really good on the Galaxy S3. Let's see if we can't find some more of what we want to take and get to. Here's video of a floor video that I take and use. Now you can see here the colors are almost an accurate portrayal of my floor, very close. It takes great video. We usually use this as a color test to take and see how high the yellows, the blues, and greens. You can see here this is a photo of my floor, and this is more a darker color, which is more representation of what the camera or what my floor looks like. So it does take really good, accurate pictures, and the colors aren't too messed with. Of course, you can adjust them, customize them, and everything you want. We love the camera on the Samsung Galaxy S3. It's a great camera. Okay, so let's take a look at the camera on the Galaxy Note. It has many of the similar features that you would normally see in an Android device. You've got your front-facing, back-facing switch here. You've got your ability to control flash on and off, and of course lamp if you're in the mode over here for taking pictures with video. You've also got your settings down here. And in the settings, you've got several different things that you can choose from. Self-portrait, flash, shooting mode. You've got all sorts, of course, different shooting modes that you can take and exercise here. So you can see those. On scene mode, you've got also different scene modes that you can take and shoot from. And you can see some of the ones that they have built into this. Every Android seems to have a little bit of a different settings or different menus. Some have less or more than others. You can, of course, adjust your exposure value if you so choose. Let's take a look at some of the other different features. You've got focus mode, timer, effects. I think this is fairly limited on effects. As you can see here, this is pretty much all we have to offer. Some of the newer Androids have a bunch more effects that they take and do. Resolution, of course, you can take and control your white balance, ISO, metering. A lot of people like the Android product because you can do all this customization to your shots and everything else, blink detection guidelines, image quality, auto contrast. You can choose whether you want to save this to your 32 gigabyte memory card that you want to have in the back, GPS tagging, all that sort of good stuff. So you can see some of the results there. You've got your shutter button here, and of course you can switch very easily and quickly between video mode and mode for camera. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the pictures that we took with the device. Very impressed, of course, with the camera. Now, this is a picture we took where the sun is setting, so we're not getting the most greatest shot in the world here, but we wanted to show you some of the different colors, shadows, and angles that you can see with the device. Let's take a look at some other pictures. Once again, this is taken in a sun setting sort of situation, so we're not getting the greatest picture there. This is a good look and a good picture, I think. At least in showing not only shadows but the blue sky, and so you can see there, you can see some reds, yellows, greens, all that sort of good stuff, and they came out pretty well. Here's some video, and of course we're shooting this, starts from a darkened area, and we're rolling around. As you can see here, as we get into the lighted area, the video colors definitely improve as we're in a much better area. And it's a great camera. I mean, you can't say anything really bad about it. Here's another photo. Let's put it that way. Now this is a situation where we're using the lamp in video mode on the back of the device. We're in a completely dark situation. It's completely black. And so what we're going to do is you're going to see this here where the device is going to be able to light up the background, and it does a really, really, really good job of being very bright. You can see me here stepping back, and it's still illuminating very well. The colors come out very well. It does a great job. So great lamp in the back when it comes to being able to light up your background area. This is another shot taken in complete darkness, keep in mind. And you can see here how well the flash lit up the area and also was able to capture in exact detail the colors and images. So did a really, really, really good job. Yeah, we've really liked the Samsung Note and its camera, and it's much very similar to the quality cameras that you see in the other devices that are out there. Okay, so overall, I've really enjoyed both devices. I really like both of them very much, and they both serve a wonderful purpose. The T-Mobile Note is great. I don't like it too much as a phone, but it's great to have around the house as a note and a small sort of tablet, if you will. It's great to take to bed if you want to be able to read your mail in the morning, or maybe read stuff at night, watch a little TV show before you go to bed. It's great for that purpose without having to have a giant tablet with you. I like the Samsung. It's great for calling, and of course both have great cameras, etc., and front-facing cameras, all that good stuff. They're both wonderful devices. Be sure to check them out. You can go to AT&T.com for the Samsung Galaxy S3 that we have before us, and check them out, AT&T.com, and be sure to check out, of course, all the different devices they have that we reviewed at AT&T. And you can also go to T-Mobile.com. That's T-Mobile.com for the Samsung Galaxy Note, and check out all the other devices we reviewed from them. So thanks to both companies for providing the phones for us. We have all the major phone companies sending us phones now, so be sure to subscribe to the Chris Voss Show daily email list, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel at Chris Voss, so you can get all the latest and greatest phones as they become issued. Thanks for coming by the ChrisVossShow.com. Chris Voss tested, Chris Voss approved. Tell him Chris Voss sent you. Thanks for coming by.